Hello and welcome to North Blenheim, New York for Heiser Media's coverage of the 2025 KiIl Disc Golf Championship presented by Disc Golf Journey and Disc Cap. I'm Nathan Johnson, joined in the booth today by Emily Dale. How's it going, Emily?
Going great. Excited to see some exciting coverage here up in the beautiful upstate New York. We have an exciting card here. We have Fornoff leading into this final round, but not too far behind her, we have Alecia, Lori, and Carli as well. So lots can happen out here. Here's a peek at the leaderboard so far as we head into this final round of our event.
Yeah, pretty close up there at the top of the leaderboard of this FPO side of the tournament. This is the third and final round, so let's just jump right into it.
Starting off, we have a par 4, hole 1, coming in at 603 feet. You do have the OB flagged over there on the left-hand side of the fairway, as well as this little island in the middle of OB, which is kind of a huck to get across. And then finally you get the basket with some slight elevation.
First up from Delta, Pennsylvania, Fornoff. First up, I didn't want to throw a fairway.
Yeah, that OB little patch on the right-hand side will make this interesting, might leave some of our players with the decision of if they want to try to go across and get that birdie, or if they want to play over to that left strip of inbounds.
Yeah, getting up to that corner, it's about 325 feet, and then it's another big shot to get over it. So some players may go around. We'll see what Eden takes.
Alecia Hinkson.
Yeah, nice shot for Eden to start her day, puts her in the fairway. Alecia looks like she's going to be lining up the backhand line. This one looking good out of the hand and finds the left side of that fairway.
Next up from Sweetly.
You got it. Hey, nice
Pennsylvania, Lori Merriman.
Lori, a staple of the Northeast disc golf community. Lines up the backhand here as well. This one's drifting a little bit right, but there's plenty of space over there as long as it checks up.
From Monson, Massachusetts, Carli, Bennett.
We have Carli Bennett running out this lead card.
And this shot is something you'll see a lot, so players can opt to go over towards this left-hand side and just play safe the entire way. But it looks like Carli's going to take the route across. Oh, she threw me for a loop there.
Got us with the pump fake. Just a layup over there to the left, especially with that uphill that you see it towards the end of the shot. This does play pretty far if players are trying to go for the green into, so this layup is the much safer option, just pitching over to that inbound strip.
And Lori over here on the right-hand side really doesn't have too much of a choice, so she has to really attack here just to get over, and she does so successfully.
Yeah, nice line. A little right, but probably will just have a nice stress-free pitch up for her par from there. Eden,
we'll see a lot of forehands from Eden.
Yeah, she has a great forehand, but that one just never quite had the height to climb the hill and finds the out of bounds, so already in a tough spot. But a good recovery there to get her back putting for what will be bogey now. So already we have some an opportunity for some of the folks on our card to make up some ground on the leader. Oh, and Alecia there just finds the left side out of bounds. That one must have just trickled down the hills a little bit.
Yeah, and you see our players in hats and gloves, which may seem uncommon for an event at this time of the year, but it is upstate New York, so you never know what's going to happen. Lots of rain, lots of wind, and some colder temps definitely made this a little bit more challenging for players out here.
Yeah, early in the morning as well. As we see, Carli knocked down a great par save from edge of circle. What a way to start her round.
And as you can see, I mean, hole 1 is playing as one of the harder holes with all of that OB and that carry that they had, playing 1 stroke over par for the final round here.
Yeah, and a difficult green too. Putting the basket on that slope can lead to some rollaways. Worth mentioning too, on Saturday during the first 2 rounds, it basically rained all day. So the course is in pretty wet conditions, and you might see some mud patches here or there in lower spots, which could come into play depending on what kind of lies our players are seeing.
Absolutely. And then shout out to Chelsea for giving us some extra hole breakdowns to give us the course feel for the event. Always nice to have the player perspective. And just like that, things got a little bit tighter heading over into hole number 2. It is a par 3, 231 feet. There is a road along that left-hand side of the fairway, which is really the OB that can come into play if you get a weird kick. But otherwise, it's just a straightforward shot.
Yeah, just got to beat that late bushy tree towards the end of the flight to get yourself up into that green.
Yeah, and that's going to be something we see commonly here as well. There's a lot of grubby pine trees that make it really hard to get out of or around if you happen to find yourself in or behind one of them.
Yeah, thick rough, a common theme on this course is we'll see in a bit as we head into the woods portion, things tend to tighten up a little bit.
Don't think she got as much turn as she wanted out of that, but I really like that play for the shot shape of the hole.
Yeah, not a bad option. We'll see what Alecia goes with. A nice little flip up here. Get some good push. She should have some sort of look coming into the green from there.
And there's that guardian tree, and you can see these are the putts that you get left with. It makes it pretty much impossible to have much of anything at the basket as we see the rain starting to pick up again in our final round.
Yeah, not every day that you're forced to go with a forehand putt from 28 feet. It's just a tough lie for Carli there, just not having much to work with. And it looks like, I believe that's Eden's disc. She's going to have a tough one as well, straddling out from the knee.
Nice commitment there. Probably getting some scratches, lots of thorn bushes back there.
Yeah, not the most pleasant lie, definitely. But a birdie putt here for Alecia, able to knock it down. That's a nice bounce back for her after the double bogey on 1, gets one of those strokes back. And just some pars for the rest of the card. Not too surprising of a result. Hole 3 averaging right at even par, or I guess Carli is going to drop a stroke here after that tough lie behind the tree for her par putt as we move on to hole 3.
Hole 3 is another shorty. It's a par 3, 194 feet, but you want to stay away from this stuff in the middle. So it's kind of a choose your own adventure. You can take the left hand or the right hand side as long as you don't find your way into those big old pine trees.
Yeah, they are tough to get out of if you are stuck in the middle of one of them. That looked like some nice width on the shot from Alecia. We'll see if she was able to get that little bit of finish back to the left to give her a birdie putt.
And as expected, Eden's taking that forehand route, which is a little bit less obstructed. As you can see, there's kind of a double lane of a tunnel there on the right-hand backhand hyzer route, but definitely some good shapes both ways.
Yeah, and especially with the rain and just being summer, you're going to see a lot of thick grass. I'm guessing we're not going to see too much ground play in general out here today. So maybe some shots that you normally expect to get a little skip and back towards the basket are going to
And I
leave
think
you
that was
right
a
around this range.
great shot to show the wind that's happening out there. So sometimes it can be hard to see on film, but it was windy as Lori bags a great birdie.
Yeah, what a putt. Nice 30-footer with a little bit of head crosswind in her way.
A little bit low of a dinker there for Eden. She'll be able to walk away with a par.
Yeah, just didn't quite commit to that one.
And look at that beautiful background. Love to see the mountains. It's a beautiful course out here.
Yeah, the rolling hills, you're going to see the elevation come into play quite a bit out here. It is quite a hike. This Carli's just a bit off as well. These Mach 7 baskets, you really got to make sure you put it on the pole. Not going to get a lot of left or right catches with those slightly narrower chains.
Good cleanup there.
Yeah, as we take a look at the leaderboard so far, Eden 2 over through 3, giving up a little bit of ground to most of those players that are chasing her. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep catching up and make this thing interesting.
So hole 4, the way that the drone is flying is really over the OB the entire way, which you could take, but it's going to be a pump of a shot, probably about 400 feet. If you go the fairway route, you need about 200 feet to clear the first OB area. It's kind of to where that covered basket is that you're seeing, and then play for a par and head around as a layup into the basket.
Yep, so it looks like that's what Lori's going to play, essentially just a layup here to the short basket position. That would be pretty unfortunate if you found yourself right next to it after a perfectly thrown layup shot. So no need to mess with the out of bounds, and a smart decision there.
Yeah, this is one, especially in drier conditions, you might see players try to attack a little bit more, but 400 feet over OB the whole way is kind of terrifying in these conditions.
Yeah, really in any conditions, as we see a bit of a low release from Eden, she never crosses inbounds. That is going to be that's going to be put her in a tough spot.
Yeah, there is a drop zone for anything that gets thrown into the OB, so that looks like that's where Eden will be progressing to.
Yep, so this is that drop zone, still not an easy up and down.
And it's blind, which just makes it even that much more challenging.
But a pretty similar shot to what the rest of these players are working with after their layups. Although that one just a bit looks like long from Alecia, finds the out of bounds on her layup as well.
Yeah, you can see the teeth of this hole, which again shows that it's playing over par, so it plays exactly one stroke over par for the players here today in the final round.
Yeah, not easy, especially when you're essentially most of these players forced to play this for par, given just the layout of the hole, and essentially creates a par 4, right? If you're going to execute, you need to throw 2 quality shots, and Lori able to knock down that little tester putt. Her putt's looking good early, keeping her in it. Yeah, so after Alecia found that out of bounds on her upshot, now has this left for bogey, probably in that 23-foot range, and just a bit off low right.
Yeah, and that's a nervy putt, especially with the wind and after just going OB. It's easy to get in your head as Eden cleans up her bogey.
Yeah, nice up and down from Eden to keep it to one stroke, just losing one stroke after the OBT shot. That's something that can get away from you quickly if you're not careful on a hole like this.
And you can really just see how much mud is out there in the course as the players kind of tiptoe through it. Like you mentioned in the beginning, it was raining pretty much the whole weekend. Shout out to all the people that keep the course up to par, too. Lawn mowing counts. Hole 5 is a par 3, 265 feet. Easy to go along here. You can see behind it and in front of it, pretty steep. So,
yeah, difficult basket placement on this one. Left to right moving shot. And makes putting and approaching the basket quite difficult. I think most players are just going to try to drive something into the hill, and if you have a putt, great. If not, happy to lay that one up for your par. We'll see what Eden decides to do with that one.
this is looking great if it can just settle up there. Oh, a great little counter skip, and that'll be still a scary putt, I will say, because it's all just air behind it, but it should be close enough that she should have a nice look.
Yeah, that's a great spot to be in. This one is looking great as well from Alecia if it gets a little bit of finish.
A little bit long there.
Disappears over the top. Yeah, we'll see if it checks up or if it is just all the way down the hill.
Yeah, and you can see basically it's a cliff.
Yeah, so all the way onto the backside of the hill for Alecia, and gave it a great run.
Great bid.
Luckily, that did check up after hitting the cage there as Eden knocks down a great putt of her own right around Circle's edge over the park bench that is precariously placed. That is a really good one to knock down and get her back on track.
Yeah, Carli.
Great putt there for Carli as well for her birdie. And the rest of our card will clean up their pars here. And shout out to all of these spotters at this event. This event was full of folks volunteering, and as a player, that makes it so much easier, especially with all of the tall grass, all of the woods. It's definitely a challenge, so having spotters is so helpful. So shout out to them and everybody who does spotting.
For sure. Volunteers make our sport go round. You are appreciated.
Hole 6 is a par 4, 505 feet. We have this OB kind of surrounding the hole, narrow at first, and it gets wider. And then once again, like I mentioned in the beginning, we have these large trees throughout the fairway that can make it really challenging to get around just due to how big they are and how dense.
Yeah, placement's going to be important depending on, how you prefer to approach the green on this hole. Making sure to place yourself in a spot that you're not directly behind one of these trees is going to be it's going to be key if you want a clean lie. So Eden, that one just looked like she didn't turn it as much as she liked. Catches that tree to stay in bounds. This shot from Carli a lot better, just straight down the middle, and is going to position herself well to attack the green.
And this hole had a lot of swirling wind, which makes it really hard to read as well.
Yeah, definitely the open backside of this course is not much in the way to stop the wind from coming through the valley. This is looking like a great shot from Alecia as well, pushing nicely, and should give her a nice open lie. Really well thrown shot there for Carli gets her up into the green.
And I just love hearing the support from the card mates on this throughout this whole cards or round so far. Really supportive, and I think that's what makes this sport so great.
Yeah, we love the good vibes.
Camaraderie.
Long look for Eden there for her birdie after being out of position off the tee. She's content to just drop that one in for par, but the rest of her card inside the circle looks coming up. Lori just a bit low on that downhill look. Carli from about 16 feet for her birdie as well, just a bit low. So opportunities for the entire card to make up another stroke on our leader. And oh my gosh, after that miss from Alecia, all three are unsuccessful. So the lead for Fornoff is going to stay at 3 strokes after a great chance. As we take a look at the leaderboard, once again, Eden Fornoff still got herself a 3-stroke lead. Lori Merriman, the only player in the top 10 currently under par, so we'll see if she can string together a couple more birdies and gain some more ground on Eden Fornoff.
Hole 7. It's a par 3, 277 feet. You have this slight angle of the fairway going from left to right. You really kind of just want to go straight up the guts. You can take the wider hyzer route if you choose to. And we see Eden taking that wider hyzer route I just mentioned.
Yeah, it's definitely there, but whenever you have a left to right slope like this, it's always going to be hard for the disc to climb the hill back towards the left with this slope. So you really got to give it quite a bit of height to do just that. This one came out a bit lower, but that was kind of an interesting little reaction off the tree there.
Yeah, there is tall grass on this hole, however, it does not play as OB for hole 7. And a lot of guardians. That's kind of common if you're pushing up that left-hand side, or any side, really, to find some of those late trees.
Yeah, a bunch of skinny ones in the way. Alecia going for that wide line, but just pulls it a tad, catches an early tree. She should have a pretty open approach here, though, to get up and down for the par. Not too much in the way to just swing that wide hyzer in. And leaves it a bit short. Probably be in that 28-foot range.
I was waiting. Like, who's gonna sing? I meant to give it a little more.
Lori wanted to give that one, especially with the uphill. Not too much danger here to try to give this one the height. We'll see if Eden can improve on that.
There we go. Carli gave it the height. Great birdie.
Yeah, it's a big one to pick up for her. Out at circle's edge, dropping it in. Gonna put her 1 stroke off second place. Big putt, important putt here for Alecia as well. About a 25-footer to save her par. God, she's just been a little bit right most of the day on the green. I love the casual mini drop. Because sometimes it just lands perfectly, and you're like, I'm a baller.
I meant to do that. All right, hole 8 is a par 3, 240 feet. You really just want to take a shot that's wide enough to stay out of that woodsy, long grass area over there on the left-hand side. It's not OB, but it's just annoying to get in and out of.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to probably walk out of it with like 6 ticks all over you. So, yeah, wouldn't recommend. Nice looking shot for Carli there. Did pull it a bit, but got through the tree, so she should have some sort of look. Not a bad line for Eden. Just came out a bit low. Didn't quite get the finish back to the left over by the basket that she was looking for. This one, if it finishes, should be great as well. Yeah, that's going to be a great shot for Lori.
Alecia taking the wide route and making it through. That should be good.
Yeah, she should have a look. Looked like it got the finish it needed if the distance was correct. Eden's got herself an outside the circle look on this elevated basket. A good effort, but just missed it a bit high. Yeah, here's that awkwardness you talked about, Emily, and the tall grass, these branches kind of just a little annoying for Carli.
There we go. Great bird from Lori.
Yeah, Lori's just been kind of chugging along, like super consistent, hitting fairways, giving herself chances here and there, and the putter has been finding the bottom of the basket. So 2 down now for Lori Merriman, and Alecia knocking down a nice birdie putt of her own, get her back to 14 over par for the tournament. Everyone on this lead card still really within striking distance. Eden hasn't done too much to pull away per se. And yeah, everybody just kind of hanging around. It'll be interesting to see down the stretch here if anybody can make a real push. It's going to take stringing together some birdies to catch Eden. She hasn't really made too many big mistakes, big stroke swinging mistakes so far, and I would be surprised if she did.
Heading over into hole number 9, it is a par 4, 794 feet. Honestly, there's a lot of OB on this hole. Bigger arms might end up down in this area here that you can see on this drone flyover because it is playing downhill, but a lot of people are just going to try to stay up top on that left-hand side to just give themselves a clean look at getting a birdie.
Yeah, I mean this hole is playing as a behemoth of a hole for this FPO field. Definitely playing as a par 5, and it's going to take really consistent shots just to get yourself a 4 on this one.
Yeah, and you have OB over there on that right-hand side, and then on the left-hand side you have OB in the middle, and then at the end, but also a bunch of trees and brush that is kind of natural OB as well. So, like you said, it's a behemoth.
Yeah, so this is one of those holes. Forward progress going to be key. Want to make sure you just keep yourself in the fairway, give yourself a chance to bite off a good amount of distance on each shot, and should be able to take a good score. But that's something you're not looking for off the tee. Eden just kind of comes out low and not able to bite off enough to put her in position, but a good recovery shot there.
Yeah, and these are those bushes that you can see a lot of people with the big arms landing around, so great shot there from Lori. But you see the wind dropping, the rain swirling. The conditions are getting rough out here once again, unfortunately for the players.
Yeah, not what are we doing, Mother Nature? Like, this is the worst hole possible to decide to bring the swirling winds and a little bit of
Wasn't the
rain.
last hole sunny?
Yeah, exactly. So much has changed in the past 5 minutes. It is absolutely crazy weather out here.
Welcome to New York.
Yeah, nice Taylor Swift reference. Unintentional, maybe.
No, I am just from upstate New York, so.
No, never
But
mind.
yeah, definitely a Taylor Swift reference.
This is looking like a good recovery shot from Eden. Put herself back in position. I think at this point she's basically just playing for bogey, best case scenario after that tee shot, but should have a chance to get up and down from there. Lori going to the first forehand we've seen from her. Looked good, but it might have pushed a little too far. We'll see if she's on the edge of that fairway at the bottom or caught those bushes at the end.
Yeah, seemed like she got a little bit of a slip there. This is looking like a good shot, though. If I can clear that shrub area.
Yeah, if it can clear it or if it stays short, like either is fine, but
Just
don't
don't go
put
in
yourself
it.
in. It's not going to be a fun time. You're going to have to throw probably some awkward like step out or overhand or.
Yeah, there is water in there, like a little bit of a marshy area, so it's OB, but getting over it still, if you're close to it, is not fun. Unless you have this little gap that Eden has. Drop in.
Yeah, I give it
Oh
up.
no! Unfortunately, she finds the OB there. Comes up fast.
Yeah, gave herself too much of a run, too much of a chance, and goes a little long. So she's going to be taking a big number. So the rest of our card in position to take some strokes back here at the end of the front nine.
I think
Awkward
you
little.
definitely foreshadowed that.
It was
without even watching
unintentional.
this.
I know. My announcer jinx skills are strong.
Honestly.
Which is crazy because we're recording this the week after the tournament. But spoiler, sorry, folks, this isn't live. I know you're all so surprised, but all right. So some big putts here. Lori now with a putt for bogey would be a nice one to make, but just comes out a bit low. Carli a bogey putt of her own.
Knocks it down though. Good putt.
That'll be a double bogey for Eden. So honestly, after an out of bounds and that shorter tee shot, not the worst result for her, especially with the rest of the card taking bogey at best. So really not too big of stroke swings, at least within this card. Might have given some of our chasers an opportunity to kind of sneak back into it, but tough hole for our lead card here on hole 9 to round out the front.
Yeah, so here's a look at our scores through that front 9. Eden's still with the lead. Well, there's, as we can see, a lot can happen out here. And we can see the check-in with the last little leaderboard. So it's really still a race.
Yeah, Lori Merriman has been playing really solid. That's her first real blemish on the round with that double bogey on 9, but she is still at even par, just 2 strokes back. So make sure to tune in for the back 9 of this FPO coverage. We're going to have a tight finish here down the stretch of this year's KiIl Championships. For Emily Dale, I'm Nathan Johnson. We'll see you on the back 9.
See you there.